If you're not doing this old school exercise in your workout, you're missing out. Today, you're going to learn my 10 best tips for better dips. Let's talk about technique. The dip is an exercise that many people butcher. Here's 2 ways to perfect your form. I want you to get into a hollow body position with your torso facing forwards. Then at your scapula, you're going to keep your shoulders depressed. This sets them in a stable position. Next is protraction. You're going to round your shoulders slightly. This technique emphasizes the chest and it improves your leverages, maximizing your mechanical efficiency so you can be as strong as possible. If your goal with the dip is to hit your triceps, you want to keep an upright torso with your chest up. Scapular position, pretty similar, but you'll find yourself going into more retraction. This type of dip uses more shoulder extension, which stretches your triceps and emphasizes this muscle. You can't get big, you can't get strong if the dip is causing you pain. So you need to choose a technique that feels good for your body. Common problem with dips is range of motion consistency. Many people do these little quarter or half reps when they're trying to learn the exercise. How to find your perfect technique every time is using pause dips. This builds up isometric strength in that deep range of motion. It builds your motor control to understand where your body is in space. This way, with practicing pause dips, you won't even have to think about if you're hitting depth because you automatically will. You're probably thinking, how long should you pause for? 1 second is enough, just to stop yourself in that position. Tempo dips are a game changer when you're training. We know that that eccentric, that negative, is really helpful for growing your muscles because of that extra time under tension. Spending around 2 to 5 seconds on your negative is going to transform the difficulty of this exercise. Additionally, compared to just smashing out your dips really quickly, these tempo dips are super joint friendly. Bands are a beginner's best friend for calisthenics. You really have to drop your ego and train within your means if you want to improve your dip. You're taking a step back to take a step forward when you're training with bands because it offloads your body weight. It allows you to use perfect technique, get that full range of motion, and train with sufficient volume so you can actually progress. With band dips, it's important you choose the right thickness of band that suits your level. Instead, you want to choose a difficulty that is challenging for 3 to 6 rep sets when you're pausing at the bottom as well as the top for best results. The first way is just to kneel, go down like that, happy days. You can also stand on them and do it like this too. If you've got access to V-shaped dip bars, there's some unique benefits of this equipment. You've got 2 different ways of doing your assisted dips. The first way is just to kneel, go down like that, happy days. You can also stand on them and do it like this too. If you've got access to V-shaped dip bars, there's some unique benefits of this equipment. If your dips feel awkward and uncomfortable facing this way, try it this way. As you can see, the bars are angled out in a 45-degree orientation. This externally rotates your shoulders, putting them in a nice, stable and strong position. For me, this feels awesome. I get no joint pain. I feel super strong. I'm heaving and hoisting heavy ass plates on my dips. And if you've got this set up, experiment. Find what feels comfortable and strong. You're ready to progress beyond the bodyweight dip, but you don't have a dip belt. What do? If you've got access to a dumbbell, that's all you need to make your dips harder. Here's how. You might be thinking, okay, easy. I'll just put the dumbbell between my feet and hold it like this, or rest the dumbbell on top of your feet. It's not the best because you're limited by your tibialis anterior. These are small muscles, and when you're going heavy on your weighted dips, your shin muscles are going to fatigue before your dip muscles. Here's what you should do instead. Grab the dumbbell, put it behind the nook of your knee, curl your hamstring, cross your leg. You can have it straight or bent, and you can do your dips weighted, no problems. This is preferable because the weight sits nicely in your leg. Your hamstrings are such big muscles, so you can just focus on those weighted dips to your heart's content. Now, if you do have access to a dip belt, here's what I recommend. With weighted dips, this is my biggest pet peeve that I see beginners doing. It's letting the weight plate swing all over the place as they're doing the dip. There's a famous saying, you control the weight, you control the dip. I learned this from the world's best dipper in the world, Matthew Zlat. He's doing 150 kilos plus on a dip, and it's for a reason. One of them is you're just controlling the weight plate, because the weight is an extension of your body. If it's swinging everywhere, your dip is going to be uncontrolled. If you keep this in place, you'll be stable, strong, and have better dips. A common weighted calisthenics mistake is having the plate too high on your weighted dips. This makes you more unstable and also weaker. Instead, you want to put the weight as low as possible towards your shins and even towards your feet. This lowers your center of mass, it makes you more stable, and it increases your strength. Now, I'm no physics expert, I don't know how that works, but if you try having the weight higher versus lower, the same weight will feel easier the lower it is. With rings, you're going to unlock next level shoulder stability, enhancing your rotator cuff strength. Rings are going to transform your dip. It is so much harder to push on an unstable surface compared to your parallel bars. It's harder because of this instability, and this instability will transform you in a few ways. I love ring dips because it forces good technique. If you're not controlling that negative, pausing in the bottom, and having a strong lockout, you're going to be shaking, moving all over the place. So it's the perfect technique tool for people to master their dip, because you got no other choice. Compared to a parallel bar, you can kind of use momentum and cheat a little bit more. No compensation with the rings. With rings, you're going to unlock next level shoulder stability, enhancing your rotator cuff strength. You're just not going to get that from a parallel bar dip on a fixed surface. With rings, you have the luxury of changing your technique. You can set the straps wider apart if you're a bigger boy, or you can bring them in closer together to find what suits you. You can also change your technique. You can flare your elbows out more in the scapular plane, doing those Bulgarian push-ups to smash your chest, or you can tuck the elbows in to hit your triceps more. Okay, so you're struggling with dip mobility. You're finding it hard to hit that full range of motion due to tightness. Don't worry about doing these stretches, all this stuff. The best use of your time is to stretch in the dip itself. What you're gonna do is get into the deepest dip that you can comfortably manage. You should feel a stretch through your chest, front of your shoulders, and also your biceps. And you're going to use your feet on the ground just to take off some of your body weight so that you can tolerate this stretch. And the key here is you're keeping tension on your upper body. This is so effective for improving dip range of motion because we're actually stretching in the dip itself. You're building strength at length and increasing your range of motion for permanent gains. 3 sets, 30 to 60 seconds of this dip isometric stretch at the end of your workout, and your dip is going to feel so much better. When I see beginners doing this, I just think to myself, if you just rest longer, you would make so much more progress. Varying your rep ranges is one of the smartest approaches. 1 day per week, you're training for strength, low rep ranges, heavy weights, increasing your force production. Another workout, moderate to high reps. Your goal is to build muscle, that hypertrophy, by training close to failure. Combining both methods is how you become a well-rounded beast. When I see beginners doing this, I just think to myself, if you just rest longer, you would make so much more progress. If you're doing 30 to 60 seconds between your dip sets, your cardio is likely not recovered, but guaranteed your performance won't be as high as it could be. Instead, take a longer rest period. Anything from 3 minutes, even upwards, is completely fine. Use your intuition, wait until you're fully recuperated so you can dominate, destroy those dips. Legends, if you need help with your calisthenics training, get my beginner calisthenics program, which is the top link in the bio. Otherwise, bam, watch another Fitness FAQs YouTube video to keep on learning.